Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to We Love Wildlife Wisdom. So far, I've been your host, Zero Yeti. And without further ado, let's get into it. The first animal of the week being the western capercaillie. Tetraurogalus is also known as the Eurasian capercaillie, the wood grouse, the heathercock, the cock of the woods, or simply the capercaillie. It is a species in the grouse family, which is endemic to the taiga and boreal forests of northern Eurasia, from Scotland in the west to Russia in the east. They are a typically diurnal ground-dwelling bird, which, while capable of flight, are fairly clumsy in the air due to their short, rounded wings. Excuse me. While taking off, they produce a sudden thundering noise that deters predators. At night, they rest in horizontal tree branches or within thick ground cover such as bushes and sedges, emerging during the day to feed upon seeds, buds, leaves, berries, insects, grasses, and conifer needles. Capercaillies are themselves eaten by wolves, lynx, foxes, eagles, martens, bears, boars, goshawks, and owls. Excuse me. With females reaching around 21-25 inches or 54 to 64 centimeters in length and 3.5 to 5.8 pounds or 1.5 to 2.5 kilograms in weight, while the males can reach upwards of 29 to 40 inches or 74 to 100 centimeters in length and around 9 to upwards of 15 pounds or 4 to 7 kilograms in weight, making the western capercaillie one of the most sexually dimorphic living bird species in terms of size, only being exceeded by larger types of buzzards and a select few members of the pheasant family. For females, the upper parts are brown with black and silver barring, and on the underside they are more light and buffish yellow, while males are dark gray to brown, with the breast feathers being a dark metallic green. The belly and undertail coverts vary from black to white, and both sexes sport a white spot on the wing bow. They have feathered legs, and their toe rows have small elongated horn tacks which provide a snowshoe effect, enabling them to traverse thick snow with ease. The breeding season begins in March or April and lasts until May or June. Three-quarters of this long courting season is mere territorial competition between neighboring males, or males on the same courting grounds. Towards the end of this courting season, the hens arrive on the courting grounds, at which time the dominant cock or cocks fly into an open space nearby and continuously display. If impressed, one or more hens will approach and mate with them. Females will then lay 3 to 12 eggs over a 10-day period, which they will incubate for 26-28 days until hatching. The young will remain with their mother for around 3 months, and under ideal conditions, a western capercaillie may live upwards of 18 years. Next up is the Nile monitor, Varanus niloticus, niloticus, not niloticus, niloticus, is a large member of the monitor family of Varanidae, which is native throughout most of sub-Saharan Africa, particularly along the Nile River and its tributaries in East Africa. They have also been introduced to Florida, where they have become an invasive species. These lizards are remarkably efficient climbers and swimmers, which have adapted easily to a variety of habitats, including forests, savannas, scrublands, and wetlands, only really avoiding true deserts. Nile monitors feed upon eggs, invertebrates, fish, amphibians, carrions, birds, other reptiles, and small mammals. These lizards are themselves preyed upon by eagles, leopards, hyenas, crocodiles, and pythons. Reaching some 4 to 8 feet or 120 to 244 centimeters in length and 13 to 45 pounds or 4.3 to 20 kilograms in weight, Nile monitors rank amongst the largest lizards on Earth. They have a muscular body with strong legs and powerful jaws. They sport striking skin patterns, which are a variable mix of gray, black, browns, greens, and yellows on the back and head, with barring on the tail and legs. Their throats and undersides are an ochre to creamy yellow coloration. As a promiscuous species, which breeds from June through October, after mating, the female excavates a hole in the ground or often an inactive termite nest where she will lay 20 to 60 eggs. After an up to 12-month incubation period, the eggs hatch, and under ideal conditions, the Nile monitor will live upwards of 20 years. Next up is Hoffman's two-toed sloth, or Cholopus hoffmanni. It is also known as the northern two-toed sloth. It is a species of sloth endemic to Central and South America, where they can be found throughout the countries of Honduras, Ecuador, Brazil, Peru, Bolivia, and Nicaragua. Costa Rica, Panama, and Venezuela. Here they inhabit tropical rainforests where they spend the majority of their time in the canopy, feeding upon leaves, buds, tender twigs, plant shoots, fruits, and flowers. Hoffman sloths will spend almost their entire life, including eating, sleeping, mating, and often giving birth, hanging upside down from tree branches. They only really are venturing to the ground or to defecate, change trees, or occasionally mate or give birth. Hoffman sloth are preyed upon by jaguars, cougars, ocelots, harp eagles, margays, boas, and anacondas. Reaching around 22 to 30 inches or 55 to 75 centimeters in length and 4.5 to 20 pounds or 2 to 9 kilograms in weight, Hoffman's two-toed sloth is heavily built with shaggy fur, which is usually tan to a light brown in color, being lighter on the face, but they often have a greenish tinge because of the presence of algae which grows on the hairs. The forefeet have only 2 toes, each ending with long curved claws, and although three clawed toes are on each hind foot. Apologies. Their arms and legs are remarkably adapted for slow yet acrobatic motion. Mating may occur year-round, but typically coincides with the rainy season. After a 355 to 377 day pregnancy, a mother Hoffman sloth will give birth to a single young. For the first 6 to 9 months of its life, the young will be carried and nurtured by their mother until they are capable of being on their own. Under ideal conditions, a Hoffman sloth will reach sexual maturity around 2 to 4 years of age and live upwards of 40. Next is Ancestris chirrhosus, more commonly known as the bushy-nosed pleco or the bristle-nosed pleco or the jumbitetta, is a species of armored suckermouth catfish in the genus Ancestris, which is native to the Paraná River basin in Argentina and Uruguay. Here they tend to inhabit rivers and wetlands, preferring areas with flowing water. As a typically nocturnal species, they spend their days resting inside of crevices, holes, or under rocks and under driftwood before emerging after dusk to feed upon algae, aquatic plants, detritus, carrion, and the occasional tiny invertebrate. Reaching around 3 to 6 inches in length, the bristle-nosed plecos possess a body covered in bony plates with a ventral sucker mouth. The feature most common associated with the genus are the fleshy tentacles found on the head of adult males. Females may also possess these tentacles along the snout margin. They are often much smaller and they lack the tentacles on the head. These fish are typically brown, green, or gray in coloration, with white or yellow spots and a lighter or darker splotches on various parts of the body. Additionally, albino individuals are surprisingly common. Breeding takes place in hollows, caves, and mud holes in the riverbanks. Males may clean the inside of the cavity with their sucker mouth before allowing females to approach and inspect the nests. If the female approves, they will lay 20 to 200 adhesive eggs, usually on the ceiling of the cavity, after which the female plays no role in parental care and leaves the male to care for and guard the eggs until they hatch some 4 to 10 days later. After hatching, the male will then guard the young for additional 7 to 10 days until they set off on their own. The male bristlenose may care for several clutches of young simultaneously, and in ideal conditions, the bristlenose pleco may live up to 12 years. Next, we have the African wild dog, or Lycaon pictus, also known as the African painted dog or the Cape hunting dog, is a wild canid native to sub-Saharan Africa, particularly in the countries of Ethiopia, Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. Here they tend to prefer savannas and scrublands, though there are some that inhabit wetlands, woodlands, and montane areas. African wild dogs are a highly social diurnal species which lives in permanent packs of 2 to upwards of 25 individuals, often led by a dominant female. Males and females have separate dominance hierarchies, with the latter usually being led by the eldest female, while males may be led by the oldest male, but these can be supplanted by younger specimens, thus some packs may contain elderly male former pack leaders. Capable of reaching upwards of 240 miles per hour at running speed, African wild dogs are remarkable persistence hunters known for running large prey down over long distances. Said prey is known to include various antelope and gazelle species, warthogs, wildebeest, hares, cane rats, African porcupine, bat-eared foxes, lizards, zebras, and Cape buffalo. African wild dogs are themselves occasionally preyed upon by lions, spotted hyenas, and crocodiles. Reaching around 24 to 30 inches or 60 to 75 centimeters tall at the shoulders, 39 to 60 inches or 100 to 153 centimeters in length, and 40 to 80 pounds or 18 to 36 kilograms in weight, the African wild dog is a solidly built canine notable for being comparatively lean and tall, with oversized ears and missing dew claws. The fur of the African wild dog differs significantly from those of other canids, consisting entirely of stiff bristle hairs with no underfur. Adults usually lose their fur as they age, with older individuals being almost completely naked. Coloration may vary considerable between individuals, usually being a mix of yellows, browns, oranges, blacks, and whites. Breeding may occur year-round. After a 69 to 73-day pregnancy, a mother will give birth to 6 to 16 pups. At around 3 weeks of age, the pups venture out of the den and meet with the rest of the pack. Once the pups reach around the age of 8 to 10 weeks, the pack fully abandons the den and the young follows the adults during hunts. The youngest pack members are permitted to eat first from the kills, a privilege which ends once they become a year old. Under ideal conditions, an African wild dog may live up to 15 years. Next up is Bathynomus giganteus, more commonly known simply as the giant isopod. It is a species of aquatic crustacean in the giant isopod genus Bathynomus and the order Isopoda. As such, it is related, albeit distantly, to shrimps and crabs. They are endemic to the western Atlantic Ocean, particularly within the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico, where they prefer cold, benthic waters. Some 1,050 to 7,050 feet, or 320 to 2,150 meters below the surface. Bathynomus giganteus is notable for being the first giant isopod known to science, being documented and described in 1879 by French zoologist Alphonse Millien Edwards after the isopod was found in a fisherman's nets off the coast of Tortuga. Like many animals that live in the deep sea, giant isopods are scavengers which feed primarily upon detritus, carrion, and other aquatic debris. Reaching around 7.5 to up to 20 inches in length, like all crustaceans, it has jointed legs and a hard exterior called an exoskeleton. There are 3 segments that make up its body: the head or cephalon, the thorax or the perion, and the abdomen or the pleon. It moves using its 14 legs, fan-like tail called a uropod, and fluttering swimmerets called peleopods. The head possesses 4 jaws, 2 large compound eyes, and 2 sets of antennae. Breeding tends to occur in winter and spring, with mature females developing a pouch known as a marsupium. Here the eggs are stored until the young are ready to emerge as miniature versions of the adults, known as manca, completely bypassing the larval stage found in most other invertebrates. Under ideal conditions, a giant isopod may live up to 30 years. And our extinct animal week is Crassigyrinus. It is an extinct genus of carnivorous stem tetrapod which lived throughout what is now Scotland and possibly the United States during the early Carboniferous period, some 345 to 329 million years ago. The first remains of Crassigyrinus, consisting of an incomplete skeleton, were unearthed at the Limestone Coal Group of Scotland in 1926 by Professor David Meredith Sears Watson, who initially described it as a species of Macromerium he dubbed Macromerium scoticum. Additional finding of a pair of incomplete lower jaws prompted Watson to give the animal its own genus, Crassigyrinus, meaning the Latin crassus, or thick, and the Greek grynos, meaning tadpole. Since then, 3 skulls and another complete skeleton have been recovered, representing one species, Crassigyrinus scoticus. Crassigyrinus is taxonomically enigmatic, having confused paleontologists for decades with its apparent fish-like and tetrapod features. It was traditionally placed as an amphibian within the group Labyrinthodontia, along with many other early tetrapods. Some paleontologists have even considered it to be the most basal crown group tetrapod, while others hesitate to even place it within Tetrapoda superclass. Reaching up to 6.6 feet or 2 meters in length, Crassigyrinus had a streamlined body with a powerful tail and reduced tiny limbs. Crassigyrinus had unusually large jaws equipped with 2 rows of sharp teeth, the second row having a pair of platinal fangs. Studies have shown Crassigyrinus may have been able to open its mouth as wide as 60 degrees, which suggests, that it was a powerful predator with a strong bite. This, coupled with the large, well-developed eyes, would have enabled the animal to see at night and in murky water, which would have meant Crassigyrinus was well suited to be a predominantly aquatic ambush predator of the swamps and flooded forests it called home. As always, take care of my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Hope you have a wonderful day.